Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Jan Bisho and you're watching Jan of Kaduna. If you're new here, thank you for strolling in. You can take a seat and watch this video and also subscribe before you leave. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for coming to watch this video today. So today, before I start today's video, I want to address something. So my name is spelled as Joan, but I pronounce it as Joan, but the name has Hebrew, English, and French origins, and it is pronounced as Joan in those climes. But my parents are Nigerians, born in Nigeria, lived in Nigeria, I still live in Nigeria, and I guess it's not the name. It was a beautiful name with a beautiful meaning, God's gift. Some people say God is merciful, and they decided to give their picking that name. That's me, and they be calling me Joan, and it's Joan I know how to pronounce my name as. So if you feel my name should be Joan, fine, I'll answer you. But me, I'm calling myself Joan. So now let's get right into the thick of today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about things I wish I knew before I started my first job. I'm still a young person and I still have a whole lot ahead of me by God's grace, but there's still some things I wish I had learned about before I took my very first job offer anywhere. And I believe this video will be instrumental in helping other young people like me that know nothing, because they don't teach you a whole lot of this in school. So sit back, stay tuned, and relax. So first off, it's not job description, my job list. Okay, my very first job was when I was in 400 level. It was an internship in Nigerian universities, depending on your courses, especially within the engineering and technology space, sciences, and social sciences. You have to go do a few months work experience. It's part of your coursework. I think maximum of 6 months or so, and I did that when I was my 400 level, just before my final year. And I applied to a petroleum exploration company because I read petroleum engineering, and it had to be something that was related to your course, your field of study. And I applied and I got in. So I interned at this petroleum exploration company for 6 months. My next job was during my NYC. NYC is the National Youth Service Corps. Is a 1-year program, a mandatory 1-year program for Nigerian graduates under the age of 30. You have to do this program. You have to serve your country for 1 year. It's mandatory. And then doing that my compulsory 1-year service, my place of primary assignment, the place I was assigned to work for that 1 year was Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, ATBU. And since I read petroleum engineering, I was posted to their Department of Petroleum Engineering. I was their simulation lab attendant for that period. I didn't really do much, and since I had a lot of time on my hands, I decided to look for another job. I also wanted to make money, so I looked for a teaching job. It was one of the available jobs for people like me, young graduates at that time. So I applied. I got a teaching job with a nursery school, and I did that for a few months because I started that just a few months after I started my NYC. So it wasn't up to a year. After my NYC, I packed my load. I came back to Kaduna, and I wanted to work in a radio house, in a radio station. I wanted to be an on-air personality. I'd imagined myself having my own show and all that. I looked for a job in the radio space for just 2 months before I got my present job, which is a civil servant job with a government parastatal, and that's what I'm still doing up to now. And shortly after I got my job, a friend of mine had this idea to start a leather fashion accessory brand, and he asked me to come on board, and we co-founded Anienda, a leather fashion accessories brand producing high quality products, and we still do that up to now. And I'm now a YouTuber. So those are my list, or this is my list of jobs that I've done. So I've I've had some experience that I want to share. So first off, what is on your job description? You're going to do more than that. Mm-hmm. No, like there's no, you're going to do more than that. It is an unwritten rule. You think what they tell you your job description is just what you're going to do. You're going to do some extracurricular stuff that is not mentioned in your job description. You might have to volunteer for social parties at work. You might have to volunteer for other activities at work. Is an unwritten rule. But also in this undescribed job description, these are things that are going to help you to stand out, because you're going to be given some responsibilities that put you outside of your box and helps you to develop, and they see that there are other skills that you possess outside the skills that you had told them before you started your job. So you're going to have other job descriptions, but still, while you're doing all these things, because you have to indulge them, but at the same time you have to be able to draw a line, because employers always seek for avenues to exploit their employees. It's sadly so. A lot of employers do that. So you also have to draw a line. There's a difference between you're just doing something a bit extra and doing something very, very extra. Nobody, if it's not in your condition of service to work till 6 or to work till 8, the best you can do is maybe do that once in a while. But if it becomes an everyday thing, you're working till 8, then that is no longer you doing something a little extra. They are exploiting you. So don't let them do that to you. Draw a line. Yes, you're going to do some extra things, but it shouldn't be extra. So another thing that I wish I knew is that nobody's going to know the ideas that you have if you don't share them. Nobody's going to know what's inside your head or inside your mind if you don't open up and share it with other people. This was something that I struggled with, and I still kind of struggle with, because I feel, I'm young, I don't have much experience, this and that. But still, there's a lot of wisdom even in young people, that we try to be disadvantaged, or we play a disadvantage to ourselves and feel like we don't have a lot to offer, so let's just keep quiet and just let the big dogs run it. Sometimes small dogs, underdogs like us, have what it takes to run it, but we don't allow ourselves to run it. You have great ideas. Every human being walking on the surface of the earth has great ideas in them. It's just for you to open up and share these ideas. That's the only way that they can be able to know what's inside of you. But if you keep quiet, it's going to die inside there. It will go. So share that idea. Last, what they will say is no, or not now. But you know that you've done something. And sometimes when you contribute to the success of your organization, the success of whatever relationship you're having with your clients, because these rules don't, or these things I'm talking about, don't only apply for people that are doing corporate jobs. Even those freelancing, you're doing content creation, anything, whatever your client is saying, sometimes you might have something that is better. And if you don't, first of all, you ask for permission, yes, and then you share this idea. And sometimes you realize, you're even making more sense than whatever I was even talking about, or whatever they had in mind. So always open up. If you have a great idea, share it. Last, as I said, they'll say no, or not now, or they don't need it. Fine and good, but you know that you've shared something with them. Another thing again that I wish I knew, office politics is real. It's realer than real. When you get a job, you first of all have to observe. And when you observe, you try to know the power that be. That's that you have to know the power that be. And when you know the power that be, you try to strategically align yourself. Nobody wants to be left behind. Strategically align yourself. It might not be with the real power that be, but the power that's close to the power that be. You want your name to be said in tables or on tables where decisions are being made, or you want when your name is being called in certain circles, they're like, okay, yes, I know this person, like they can say one or two words like for you. So you always want to have some people in your corner. If you feel your own strategy of getting close to them is kissing ass, that's for you. But you could do other things. You could just be exceptionally hardworking. You could stand out from the rest. You could do little things that could make them notice you. Just do something sharp to enter into the good books, but do something good. Don't go through the corners. do something that is legit, that could earn you their trust, that could earn you their respect, and will keep you top of mind. Another thing is there's always more. Seek it. You just have to seek it. Now, a lot of, especially in Nigeria at the moment, a lot of young people are underemployed. Not because they choose to, but because they only have to. It's what's available that they can get. A lot of people are doing things that they are not what they love. They don't feel happy in those situations. They are uncomfortable. Now, the problem I have is that when you feel, because you're already in this situation, well, they say there's no job, and you just resign yourself to fate, that's where you're killing yourself. If you're uncomfortable in any situation, try to seek better. I'm sorry, I have cold, so my voice is a bit somehow. So if you're in any uncomfortable situation, try to seek better, try to seek more. Yeah, even as much as there are underemployed people, there are no jobs and all, people still get better opportunities, and you too deserve that. All you have to do is to seek, improve yourself. You might not, maybe at that space that you are at, the moments that you're not good enough. Maybe you might have to work on yourself, maybe get an extra degree, get an extra certification. Fine and good, but try to work on yourself to get to break out of that box that they are trying to cage you in. I see this play out a lot in the civil service realm, where a lot of, especially where I work, I've seen older colleagues that resign their faith, like, okay, as long as the government is just going to pay me at the end of the month, I'm going to be living paycheck to paycheck. There is more out there. There are things you could do. Seek, 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 and you shall find. The Holy Book says it. Seek and you shall find. You don't expect better to come to you when you don't look for it. As it. Another thing again that I have my notebook here, so that's where I'm reading from. So another thing again that I have learned is that people's skills is a plus. You're going to be working with people. People are your employers. People are under you. People are your co-workers. People are above you. So why can't you just relate with people? You have to be able to learn to communicate with people, relate with people. Your co-workers are the people you live more with. Like when you start working, the people you have more relationship with are your co-workers, because you stay with them most of your productive day. For if you have a 9 to 5 and 8 to 5, 7 to 5, from 7 to 4 or to 5, you are with these people. By the time you get home, you just have like less than 6 hours with your real family at home. So your family are now your co-workers. So you have to learn how to relate with them. Be cordial. They must not be your friends, but you should be able to work together. And no one wants to work with a grumpy person. No one wants to work with a killjoy. Try to do things. Try to engage with them socially. Try to engage in discussions. You might not engage with discussion because you don't want to do office gossip. Fine and good, but be cordial. Have people in your corner. When things are bad for you, people can help you from your workplace. It speaks bad of you at home when something good or bad happens for you, and your colleagues are nowhere inside because you're not a people person. It doesn't speak well of you. It means that something is wrong with you. So people's skills are a plus. And let me tell you something. If you want to go ahead and grow in your workplace, if there is an opportunity for two people and you are the grumpy person, or you're great at your work, and a cordial person, a people's person that's also great at their work, they're actually going to pick that people's person, because people's person knows how to work with people. You don't know how to work with people, and for sure you will not know how to lead well, because you don't know how to ginger them to do the work for you. So try to have people skills. People skills is a big plus. People skills is a big plus, and you don't want to be dulling on that. So another thing is, there is nothing as a useless job. There is nothing as a useless job. No matter how poor paying that job is, or how structureless that job is, you're a sales girl, you're you're a gutter cleaner, anything, any job, there's no job that's a useless job. Whether you're just picking up phones or answering calls in the office or something, there's something to learn from it. I personally believe that every situation I find myself is a learning step for me, and that should be the same for every young person out there. We shouldn't be all about the money. Money for sure is very, very important. No one should tell you money is not important, but there are some things that are way more than money. There are some skills that money will not teach you. You have to, there are some things you learn from the ground that will help you when you have the money. It's preparing you for the money. So every job there's no job that is a useless job. Every job, learn one thing. It could be character development, it could be time management, it could be something. There must be something you're learning from that job. It could be how to manage resources. Like for me personally, my job at the moment helped me with some of my bookkeeping skills for my small business. My small business cannot afford to employ a lot of people at the moment, so I do bookkeeping on my own skill before we give a accountant to do the bigger thing. So there were things I learned from my present job. So there are things that and even my other jobs, there were skills that I picked up from there that's helping me in the present job that I'm doing. So everything, whether it's content creation, whether there is everything, learn something from it. Use it as a learning tool for your next job. Another thing is, don't sell yourself short. So now I'm going to back this up with a personal story of mine. When I started, when I looked for the job as a teacher, when I was a teacher, the school that I got the job with, when they called me in for an interview and they asked me what I wanted them to pay me. Now I was a youth corper, and the government pays you a stipend. At that time, that was 2017, 2018. They were paying 19,800 as a stipend. Then. So I was like, okay. And again, I felt like they were helping me. But it's the other way around. You're the one helping them. But me, I felt they were helping me and they were giving me my first chance. This was my first time going all out to look for a job. And I was getting it myself, so I didn't want to scare them away. So I told her 10,000. At that time in Nigeria, I think minimum wage was about 18,000 or so. That was how much minimum wage was. And I was selling myself short for 10,000. And the proprietor was like, because I already told her I was a 7 core member and I already had my PPA, I just wanted this extra gig. And she told me that she was just helping me. And since she was just helping me, I should just manage. After all, the school wasn't big, so I should just manage. She was going to pay me 5,000. I didn't argue. I was like, okay. I didn't argue, and I collected the 5,000. And before the end, by the time we were like 6 months, 5,000 was not enough for me, even though I was doing a few other things. But if I had started on a more comfortable level, it would have been easier for me. But I sold myself short and I said it at 5,000. When I was done my service year, she asked me, okay, was I going to go back home? I said, yes, I was going back home. She asked me, what was I going back to do? I didn't have anything to go back to do. Though at that time, I knew I was going to go back to look for a radio job. And I told her I was just going back home to look for something to do. She was like, you know, Nigeria, there are no jobs. Since you already have this thing you're managing, we can increase your pay. Okay, you're going to increase my pay to how much? I think she said 12,000 or 15,000. Still not up to minimum wage at that time. Now, I was collecting 5,000 with 19 age from the government. and I was managing my life. But now you want to give me 15,000 just alone, no supplement for the government. And she did the only thing she could say, hey, you could look for extra lessons to do. I was like, it's better. I was like the prodigal child. I said, it's better I go and stay with my father's servants than suffer this humiliation. That was what I did. I was like, no, thank you. I think I know my mom told me to come back home. My mom just told me to come back home, and I came back home, and less than 2 months or about 2 months later, I got a job. So don't sell yourself short, because it's going to be hard coming back from there. Because even with content creation, influencer gigs and the rest, you sell yourself short, and then by the time you realize the disservice you have done to yourself, everybody has moved on and they've pegged you at that place you have decided to peg yourself, and you breaking down out from it. Imagine the rate for influencers in your region with your qualifications and your achievements and the rest is like 100k, and you said to sell yourself short for 20,000. Even to even get 50,000 from them is going to be so do your findings. If you are in an opportunity, if you have the opportunity to negotiate your price, please negotiate well before you go in for an interview or anything. Try to do a survey, try to research what they pay people like you, people with your qualifications, the things that you have. Try to not do a disservice to yourself, because especially when you have an opportunity to negotiate, when you disservice yourself, you realize that someone is earning 3 times you because the person knew how to negotiate, the person knew his worth. You are worth it. They are not doing you a favor. You're the one doing them a favor, because you're bringing yourself, you're bringing your service, you're bringing your intellect, you're bringing your everything to the table. So don't sell yourself short. Especially ladies, we usually do this a lot. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're worth it. Monotony is real. That's my next point. Monotony is real. Now, there's going to be a point in your work life, especially at your job, that it's like you're repeating the same thing every day in, day out. It's the same thing every day, every day, every day. I think personally at my own work, I am at that point where it's beginning to get tiring and boring, because it's the same thing I'm doing every day. I know that if I come today, the same thing, tomorrow the same thing, it's the same thing. But it's something that you know, and you know that it's something that might not last. Or you could look for ways that you could invest your energy to help you keep the spice up, to help you keep the spark, to help you keep the spark up. It's not going to be easy, but that's the job. Sometimes you might look for creative ways to do it, to make it more interesting for yourself. But monotony is real, and it's just going to be there, and it's the job. Even if it's, and it's even harder when it's something you don't love. It's harder. But if it's something you love, you know it's just a phase that you're just going to go through, and it's going to become more exciting for you. But if it's something you love or something you don't love, try to find creative ways to make it more lively for you. So I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. I'll be able to help a young person out there. And if you have watched this video up to now, thank you. Subscribe, like, share, and do all that good stuff, like everything, anything. Your girl needs to grow, and I'm relying on you to grow. So thank you very much for watching this video. Until next time, keep on being good for your soul, but especially not at the expense of others. Have a great time. To my next video.